Hi, this is Kimi from Scrap Therapy. Hey, so I was doing a video with a layout and I used this really pretty stamp. It's one of the Spellbinders 3D shading stamps, and this one that I'm using is called Floral Wreath. And so I wanted to just try out some different things, and I was like, hey, why don't I do a video while I'm trying out some different things just to show you. Okay, so I've got my beautiful stamp and I'm gonna try it with a bunch of different inks and see how it goes. So this is not planned, not at all. It's an experiment. Okay, so I'm gonna use my Misty because I love my Misty, and I'm gonna just stick my card in here like so, and then put on my clean dry stamp, and I'm gonna kind of come up on it like presto. It's pretty much centered. Okay, and then make sure my paper's in the corner. Close that. Okay, so I'm gonna do a bunch of different things. I'm gonna start with just some Archival ink in Plum, and I'm gonna do that. So I like to just kind of rub the ink on there for the first layer. Sometimes you get parts of the ink pad that just come off, and that's okay. Just throw them in the garbage. Wipe your fingers so that you don't get ink everywhere. It's just something I'm famous for. Okay, now that I've got kind of that first layer on there, I'm gonna just add some more ink. Stamp this up. So this is a 3D shading stamp, and when we stamp it, you'll see exactly why it's called 3D shading stamp. So I'm going to press really well. Oh my goodness, isn't that amazing? Wow. So really, you could put that on a card and do nothing else, because the way they've built the stamp, they've built it so that you get all the shading kind of in the leaves, which is just beautiful. Love it. So that was just using some Archival ink with, and it was called Plum, and that's just beautiful like that. Okay, so that's one way that you can do it, stamp it. So I'm going to use my stamp chamois. I don't know if you've seen this from Lawn Fawn. It's it's called a stamp chamois. So instead of using a baby wipe, like most of us, which is certainly what I do, I instead uses my stamp chamois. So when I'm using Archival ink, I also find the easiest way to clean my stamp is to just use a little bit of StazOn ink cleaner. It just wipes away that old ink. So now with my stamp chamois, see how it just wipes off that excess ink. See, what I found with baby wipes is, one, you'd get that little bit of a fuzz, little furriness kind of left behind, which I don't like. And there was so much moisture that it took forever for the stamp to dry. So I like this because it doesn't add as much moisture, but the stamp chamois is really nice and soft, and so it just wipes away. Look at how clean that came. Beautiful, hey? Okay, and then the trick with the stamp chamois is that you just clean it and you just wash it with water, and then you leave it out and it gets hardened. And then the next time you want to use it, you just add more water. So it's reusable, which is also pretty cool. Okay, so now I'm going to take and put a fresh piece of cardstock into the corner here. And now this time I'm going to stamp with some oxides. So let's see what that looks like with our broken china oxide. So if you love the look of multi-layered stamping but don't want all the fuss, I think this is your ticket. Wow, that is just beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to clean the stamp again. So this time I didn't have to add any stamp cleaner. it just, the Distress ink, because it's water-based, it just wipes right off. So now this time I'm going to do it with just some regular Distress ink. So this turquoise one that I did, the Broken China, was the Oxide, and now this one is just the Distress ink. I almost should have done it in the same color, the Distress ink in Broken China. But oh well, I went with Forest Moss. Wow, that is just beautiful. Wow, I love that. All right, okay, so I'm going to give this a quick clean, and then I'm going to show you how easy see that stamp chamois, hey? Like, look at that, and it's clean, and I'm not using a zillion baby wipes. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside just for 1 second, and I just wanted to show you, if I have something like this, I'm pretty sure this is going to work. Again, remember, this is an experiment, so I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to take just a little piece of tin foil and put a little bit of the fossilized amber Distress ink there, and then I'm going to just use a brush with some water. My brush looks like it's dirty. There we go. And just with a little bit of water, I'm going to just make a bit of a paint almost. And now I'm just going to come in here and just add some color. Now the ink pad I used was a Distress, so I was anticipating, oh, see, look at that, got the corner in it. I was anticipating that the ink that I stamped with would bleed out as well. So I'm going to just try that and see how easy that is to get it to just bleed. Oh yeah, totally works. So you can just bleed out that color. But I love that you can add other colors too. So now I'm just using some Distress ink in Rusty Hinge, and I'm going to do the same thing, just adding a little bit of water, and I'm just going to paint it in. So this is such a pretty look because you can just kind of paint it and make it look all watery and soft, and this kind of technique is just not about, you know, precise, exact. It's just a real watery look to it. So super pretty. All right, I'm going to take the Oxide this time, and I'm going to just use my brush nice and clean, and I'm just going to see if I can activate it as well. Yeah, totally. I just used some water and just pulled some of the Oxide ink that was there and just pulled it down and just color with the ink that's right there. So you can take some of these leaves and just kind of accent them a little bit, kind of give them a little swirl, fill them in a little, right? But you don't want to do too much because it's all about being soft. And that's kind of like where it's already pre-stamped for you. It's just, yeah, it's taking one of the steps away to make it even easier. So super easy. Okay, and the last way that I wanted to do it, wanted to try. So that, just to recap, right, there's just the Archival ink, there's the Distress Oxide ink, and there's the Distressed ink. So one other way that I wanted to show you is a technique that you can find on my other videos. If you go to PB, which is Penny Black on the Trail, there's a bunch on the lake. Wintry Trail and on the lake. There's a bunch of videos that show you how to do the stamping, scene stamping, and the markers. So I kind of went ahead and did a bunch of it. I'm kind of having a day. I tell you, I can't get the stamping super nice, but I'm going to keep going, and I just wanted to finish this one off and show you what I did. So I color on the stamp and then just keep coloring, stamping to get this look. But what I love is that in here, this is the Distress Marker Forest Moss, and I just basically took the marker and scribbled it across, and it makes it light and dark for me. So it does the shading for me, the stamp does. And then here with the other leaves, I used peeled paint just over here, and again, it does the shading, so you don't have to go back and shade. You can still color and get all the variety of colors versus like a one stamped image, which is still beautiful, but it's just a different way to use your stamp. And then I've used the worn lipstick for my center flower and then all my little flowers as well. So now I'm going to take fired brick and I'm going to just color in this area here, which is a kind of like a little flower. It's like a chrysanthemum or something in here. Okay, make sure my paper is right tight in the corner. That's the problem that I've been having, is I haven't been making sure my paper is going back into the corner, so it's been moving on me. And then I'm going to do the other side as well, this little chrysanthemum over here. So I'm just coloring really lightly and easily with my distress marker and then stamping. Okay, so see how pretty those are? All right, so now I just need to color my two feathers, which are up here, and I'm going to do those in tumbled glass. Just add a little bit of turquoise in there, since turquoise is one of my favorite colors. So my marker is feeling a little dry, so I'm just going to do the one feather, stamp it, and then do the other feather. Look at how pretty that is. And now I'm going to do this one. Make sure it's nice and tight. Beautiful. That looks really great. So now I'm going to just go back with my tumbled glass. I've got a lot of these little dots down in here that I didn't fully get because I kind of wanted them to have a bit of pink and then a bit of another color. And that color is going to be this turquoise. Yeah, I love that. It kind of looks purplish. And then here, same thing. I'm going to go over top with my turquoisey color, which is tumbled glass. Beautiful. That's looking amazing. Okay, so from there you can go back to the tutorials on my other videos and see that I will now stamp, clean my stamp, stamp this with Versamark watermark ink, and then heat set it with clear embossing powder, and then add some color in behind. So there you go, another easy and efficient, fun way to use 3D stamp and just to get some beautiful images. So thanks so much for watching. I'm going to post the finished cards at the end of this video so you can take a look and see kind of how I finished them off. All right, thanks so much.